Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the Pretty Rich Teacher Podcast. Why do I not know the name of my own podcast? Welcome to the Pretty Rich Teacher Podcast. I'm so excited to chat with you all today. Today, we're talking about the 5 real reasons that teachers quit their transition journey. So, what that means is there are teachers that start their journey out of a classroom and then they end up quitting, meaning they give up. And giving up means they stop doing the things that equal getting out of a classroom, getting out of education, and going into a new position. Okay. I'm going to talk about the 5 real reasons. So, if you all don't know, if it's your first time listening to this episode or listening to not this episode, this podcast, y'all, it's Friday and it's 2 o'clock right now in June, my birthday month, and I've done a lot today. So, excuse me for tripping over my words. I applaud myself from doing my podcast in one take, so that's why I'm not redoing it. So let's go into it. I'm gonna go straight to it. The 5 real reasons why people give up. Now, I want to talk about how this presents. So I know that no teacher wants to admit that they are quitting their journey. I know that every teacher, especially the high achievers, most of the women that listen to this podcast or have been in education for a long time are high achievers, and maybe you have not heard that term before, but you achieve things. Like you like to achieve things over and over again. And you're so used to essentially being an achiever in your role as an educator, as a teacher leader, as a school administrator, as whatever your role is. So when it comes to doing something new, you don't really know 100% what you're doing. It feels unknown. So the common thing I hear is, I don't know what to expect. I'm afraid of the unknown. Education is all I know. Like you're used to being the expert in your position. And when it comes to the career transition journey, you're not an expert, and that's okay. So I want to really let you all know what's happening, the 5 real reasons and how to fix it, how to not give up. Um yeah, so let's get into it. I want every teacher to really understand what's happening so that way they don't see other teacher friends. So I feel like we really are a new frontier right now. Like teachers leaving the classroom to make more money, teachers being pretty and rich is not the norm. It is not the standard. So I want you to understand this is not normal. Okay. We are what we call aliens. We are out of this planet. You are listening to this podcast, if you have an idea or a thought or a belief that you're leaving the classroom to make more money, know that that is not the norm. We are going literally against the norm. The norm for teachers is to stay in education for as long as possible, right? Retire, get your 10-year pen, your 15-year pen, 20-year, 30-year, and, just to stand up at that 25-year thing for everyone to stand up, give you a round of applause, get you a cupcake, right? Get you some cookies, and then you go right back to work the next day. That's what the norm is. And I'm challenging that norm. Like my goal is to be world known, meaning I want every single teacher on this planet Earth. I want the teachers who are on different planets. I'm sure there are other planets that we don't know about, but worldwide, internationally, globally known to know me, because if you know me, it means to know that you know that teachers can be rich. Okay. Teachers can make more money. It is possible. It is 100 million% possible. Not only am I the proof, but if you all scroll down to my podcast, you see all my podcast interviews from all my clients who are also living that life. It is proof, right? There is theory and there's proof. Not only am I giving you the knowledge, the strategies on this podcast and in my programs, Teachers in Tech, and in my one-on-one coaching and my course, but I also give you social proof. I intentionally try to get as many of my clients on here. Like I have a wait list right now for all my clients who have gotten jobs. My goal is for you all to see that it's visible and possible for you all to do it. Okay. So let's get into it. 5 reasons why people give up. But I want to kind of give that preface to let y'all kind of know what's happening. Okay. So the number one reason why teachers are quitting their journey, and again, quitting means you are not applying for jobs anymore. You have given up. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna stay in the classroom, or you may not admit the quit. I think a lot of it is to say this. A lot of teachers do not admit the quit. They don't say they quit. And I'm gonna go over it. So let's get into it. Number one, this is something that I've mentioned before, but the number one reason why teachers give up on their journey, and I'm going 1 through 5, so all of them are important, but I'm just kind of 1 through 5. Number one is unwilling and unable to recognize their burnout and to get mental health support. So let me say that one more time slowly. A lot of teachers are unwilling or unable to recognize their burnout and get the mental health support that they need. So, when you are an educator who has been a teacher, a leader, an admin for so many years, a part of the job, the this, I don't know if it's a word. It's hazard. So you get paid, but there's also hazards. Kind of like working on a chemical plant. Like I believe that like people who work on chemical plants get paid more money because it's hazardous. Similar to the military. You go and you're fighting the country, like you could die. Teachers, it's kind of like an abusive relationship, but it's like it's not always physical. It's like mentally abusive. That's what teaching is. Like you are being gaslit every day of you're serving your school district, you're helping kids make a difference. This is a rewarding position, but you're not getting paid $100,000 and you are chained to the school year. Meaning the only time that you can really go full out with vacations is in the summertime. But a lot of y'all are working in the summers as well. Okay. A lot of y'all are working after school, before school, maybe doing part-time jobs, etc. So when it comes to wanting to transition out, and you have kind of gotten burned out with the job, like you are overworked, underpaid, you get home, you don't have the energy to do anything because you are burnt out. Okay. I just did an enrollment for my program, Teachers in Tech. And on our onboarding call, I had one of my clients who was like, you know what? Like, I just don't feel motivated to do anything. She's like, I was trying to do my letter for my future self and I just couldn't really do it. And I was just like, oh, yeah, it's because you're burnt out. And we have to really, we really have to like sit with her and just like get her to really understand that, and realize that it is normal, unfortunately, for a lot of teachers to not even really know who they are outside of their job. So that's the unable or unwilling. So some people like to say, oh, I'm not burnt out. There's a lot of teachers who are like, oh, I'm not burnt out. I'm not burnt out. But I want you to know like burnout is not something that you kind of like know. You may not know the word for it, but like you are. You probably are. If you are coming home tired and you don't have the energy for your own kids, if you have kids, or if you want to go home and just like silence the world and just be in your bed or on your phone and watching TV, you're burnt out. Okay. And I want to admit that like this is something that I have been still working on as someone who is 4 years removed from education. Burnout is not unique to education. People get burned out in all types of jobs, but a part of being the high achieving woman is to burn out. Like we like to go full throttle. And when we go full throttle, right? Like it's like you're putting your pedal to the metal and you're just going fast. Okay. Eventually you will run out of gas, right? And when you run out of gas, especially if you are not stopping to get gas, stopping to refuel, stopping to rest, you will find yourself burnt out and on the side of the road, not literally, but like essentially mentally on the side of the road, like, I need help. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We are waiting till we run out of gas to be like, I need help. And then what you're doing is you're waiting for the cavalry. You're waiting for maybe someone to come bring some gas to you. You're waiting for someone to kind of take you and put you into a new car without you doing anything. Kind of like the Cinderella syndrome. Like you're looking for someone to come save you, or Rapunzel. And it really is taking a toll where it's like, no wonder you cannot do the journey. And I'm giving y'all like metaphors. So, like, let's say that you are on the journey, you're in the car, but you're burnt out, you run out of gas. If we're in Florida, you're not going to make it to New York. Let's just make New York the out of the classroom. Okay. It is possible to drive to New York. Okay. I didn't drive there myself, but I did go on a road trip where we went to New York from Florida, all the way from Orlando to New York. And we stopped several times to rest and to get gas. And a lot of teachers are trying to go to New York, which is out of the classroom to higher paying roles, without stopping to get the support that you need, right? Maybe you need to get a rental car. Maybe your car that you drive right now won't make it to New York, right? Maybe you are saying, you know what, I'm going to power through it and I'm just not stopping for gas. Okay, not possible. However, like, I want y'all to know that's the exact same thing that's happened. So if you are unable to see that you're burnt out, or unwilling to acknowledge that you're burnt out to get the mental health support that you need, that is the number one reason why people quit. That is the number one reason you are unable to recognize that you are burnt out. Okay. Now, again, I tell you all that I also am still working on this. Okay. I literally just hired another coach to help me with my ADHD and my overworking because I'm being transparent, y'all. Like I'm being transparent. I have a lot of days off, but I choose to continue working. And I realize that am still in survival mode, not for the same type of survival mode as a teacher leaving the classroom for corporate. Mine is a little bit different. So like so I left the classroom in 2022. And then 2 years later, I went full time in my business where I quit my full time corporate job. I still do contract work in corporate, but my main role is entrepreneurship. So I'm a full time entrepreneur. I have what we call a portfolio career where I do more than one thing. But my main thing right now is my business. My business brings in my income. My business pays my bills. My business is running me essentially. And just how I said that, like when I started my business or when I went full time in my business rather, I don't know if y'all listen to my podcast, y'all know my story. So not only did I transition out of the classroom, made more money, but 2 years ago, I left a marriage where I moved into my house that I was renting out before. And I started paying the mortgage. I started paying bills. I wasn't paying as many bills when I was married intentionally. Like, so if I'm about to marry a man, you better pay the bills. Okay. But another story for another day. But I moved out and my bills quite literally tripled, like times three, put however many bills I was paying times three. And now the good news is my business is profitable. It's always been profitable. But it is work because I was a solopreneur. Like, when I started my business and then when I went full time, it was only me. Right now, I have a small team. I have my online business manager, and then I have my client success coach who really, really helped me ensure that I'm supporting as many people as possible without burning out and being able to provide the utmost service to all the clients who work with me. But I say all that to say, like, I burned out in my business and I'm actively working on it. And I didn't recognize it until I went to a conference where it was other women business owners. And I was telling them about my day. I was like, yeah, I work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. sometimes. And they're like, what? They're like, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, working from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. No big deal. And they were like, yeah, that's a big deal. Why are you doing that? And I was like, because I didn't really have a real reason. I was just operating like it was for me, like, I feel like because I was not in the classroom, like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not shackled to the classroom anymore. I get to do whatever." But I was using my free will to work, and it was because I was still in survival mode. I didn't know that until people called it out. And then I thought I was working on it. I improved. Okay, I'm not working till 10 p.m. anymore. I'm working 7 to 7. They're like, "You're still working 12 hours a day." Like, the second year, it was like 2 years have gone by. And like, "You're still working, like, you work less, but you're still working a lot." And I was like, "Okay, clearly I need some help that, a motivational podcast won't help me." That's why I hired my life coach to help me with my ADHD, my burnout, and my time management. Like, even though I am like high functioning, I am still overworking. And I say all that to say, if I'm still challenged, like, I don't want to use the word struggling. I'm very intentional with my words, but if this is still a challenge that I'm facing, I want you to know that that is exactly what's happening to you, just in different form. And if you like, for me, if I did not get relief in that area, and I had some coaches tell me straight up, like, "Hey, like, I know that you think that this is cute to keep doing this, but you're gonna cap out at making money. Like, you're not gonna make as much money if you continue working like that." And that's what they should have led with. And I'm gonna leave that with you. You will not make any more money if you continue working that way. Okay. You need to get support. So I have a support team. So I have a therapist, I have my life coach, I have my business coach, I have my money. I have a lot of coaches to kind of help me with all the different areas in my life. You don't need as many as me. And maybe you do, I don't know. But for me, I don't like to struggle. I like to get support, mental health support. So I call this like everyone should be in therapy. I think every burnt out teacher, just like military, you should be in therapy to really get help with all that mindset. And then being able to recognize it. I want you to have support, like giving yourself mental support, right? And being able to recognize that you are burnt out so that you can build the relief. Because, like, if you don't know your house is on fire, you won't put the fire out because it's an invisible fire. It's like you feel all this stress and all of those things, but you don't know it's fire. So that's the number one thing. Now, To resolve that is simply get support. Is to just really ask yourself, like, am I experiencing burnout? Am I willing to recognize that I'm burnt out? And even if I don't feel like I'm burnt out, even if you're not burnt out, being a teacher, being on that field in education, there is some remnants of you having hazardous side effects of being in education. So I really definitely benefit from getting mental health support, getting a therapist, getting in a program that helps with your mindset. Like all of my programs that I have, my course, my teachers and tech program, my one-on-one coaching, it's not just strategy, it's also mindset. Okay. And by the way, if you were wondering how to work with me, okay, those are the three ways. By the time this podcast comes out, I believe my course is launching. So if you all are looking for the lowest entry to work with me to kind of get started on creating your exit plan into corporate. If you check my show notes, I either have my wait list or I have my link to access the course. So that is my entryway. If you really want to know how to create your exit plan and land interviews, you want to be in that course. I'm actually bringing on my first two success stories from like my course. So my course came from the very first iteration of my program when I started back 2 years ago. The program that I started with in 2024 is not the same program and offers that I have right now. I have since elevated it. And the funny part is it was called the elevated exit. And that was an elevation thing already, but like I have, grown. So my promises now in my higher level programs are six-figure careers and 100K and beyond in a career in an additional stream of income. That truly believe the only way to be fully layoff proof is by having additional income outside of a company. You should be able to know how to make your own money with your teaching experience. And those are all the things that I'm able to help with. So check the show notes. It's either going to be my course and my one-on-one coaching or my program, but Teachers and Tech does not open up until fall. I don't think I have any enrollment until fall. And then I do have special enrollments for people who sign up for the course. But those are the only ways to kind of get into Teachers and Tech if it's not openly in my show notes right now. So know that my programs offer that. Know that I would not, I am serious about having more teachers be rich. And I know that it's more than just a strategy. So I want you all to know that. Okay. Number two, why people quit their journey. Okay. You want the job to fall out of the sky. A lot of us are wanting the job to fall out of the sky, meaning like, and then I am someone who believes in God and the universe. So I am not mocking anybody's religion, but a lot of y'all are like, I'm praying for a job, I'm praying. And it's like, y'all got to pray for the work required to get it. So whenever you, number one, are unwilling to recognize your burnout, or you are just, your strategy is hoping that it'll fall out of the sky, you're going to quit. You're going to quit because if the only thing you're doing is praying for it, the only thing you are doing is pretending like you're not burnt out or not getting mental health support, you don't have the premium gas to get your job. You simply just don't have it. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just going to say it's going to be very challenging. And hence the name of this podcast, the reason why people quit. Okay. Number three, you let LinkedIn take you out. So a part of the you want the job to fall out of the sky theory, you also let LinkedIn take you out. So in my last podcast episode, if y'all have not, well, two episodes, if y'all have not watched Teacher Girls, It's Time for a Pep Talk, I think it was episode 84, go listen to that. It is going to be some tough coaching. But a lot of y'all go on LinkedIn, and I mean this in the most loving way possible. Y'all go on there. And again, I tell y'all this with most love. Y'all are on LinkedIn, sing like hobos on the street. And I'm not calling the people on the street hobos. There's the people on the street who are with their cups begging. You're like, please let me know if there are jobs. Can y'all please send me jobs? Y'all are in it. And honestly, how can I say this in the nicest way possible? It's like, obviously people who are on the street asking for money, they need the money, right? They are willing to let go of their ego and create a poster and a sign and have a cup to ask for money. Okay. The truth is, with you all being educators, you all have a little bit more uh, ability to learn things. And a lot of y'all are skipping past the learning and you're just going to LinkedIn and you're just posting, hoping that someone will give you a job. Like you're like, hey, can you please let me know? Or y'all get mad. You're like, I didn't enter. Y'all will paint a full story. I call it the victim story. I call it the teacher's lounge conversation. where you're just on there and you are complaining about people not hiring you when it's like there is a skill to get hired. Like you can get hired, there is a skill, you're just simply not using it. So you see that people are asking for jobs, y'all start copying it. Y'all see lots of jobs. Oh my gosh, there's lots of jobs posted. Like y'all kind of have that FOMO because LinkedIn, it will take you out if you let it. You see so many jobs posted. You see so many teachers getting jobs. You're like, why is it not happening for me? Like LinkedIn should just be like for my clients. And I do have a podcast episode if you scroll about how to like use LinkedIn to get a job. You only should be using LinkedIn to apply for jobs and network. You should not be doom scrolling. That is not a social network like TikTok. Okay. Find what you're supposed to actually be doing with LinkedIn. Okay. Go scroll and find that episode. I'm just kind of giving y'all the I'm trying not to yap too much on this episode. Gotta tell y'all what it is so y'all can kind of recognize it. And then use this episode to go to my other episodes with solutions. But don't let LinkedIn take you out. It is just a network to help you network and get into a new job. Okay. And I'm gonna do an episode on networking because I feel like that would be helpful. But stop letting LinkedIn take you out. Like people like go on LinkedIn, they doom scroll and they give up. It's like, oh, it's not working for me. Okay. The next thing, which I feel like is a really big important one, is you're not willing to be uncomfortable. A lot of us want the job, but you're not willing to do the work required to get the job. Meaning like you are gonna have to learn a lot of things. That goes back to what I call an ego death. A lot of teachers are high achievers and they it's like, I don't know if y'all watch Precious. You got your degree, and you think you know everything. Y'all got your degrees and y'all think y'all know everything. Okay. But if you haven't gotten the job yet, it's because you don't know, you don't have the skills yet. You don't have the skills or you're not willing to let something go. If you don't have a job yet, it's because you don't have the skills or you're not willing to have an ego death. That's mostly, it's usually you're not willing to let something go and it's usually an ego death. Meaning you need to like be a phoenix and burn down and become a new person. The person that you are now has the results that you have now. So if you want to create new results, you have to think new thoughts and do new actions. A lot of y'all are not willing to be uncomfortable learning something new. You're not willing to become a beginner. You're not willing to admit that you don't know what you don't know. You want to be a high achiever so bad. You want to be like, oh, I know how to get jobs. I know how to get jobs. I know how to do it. I don't need it. I don't need to pay anybody. I'm just gonna post on LinkedIn and people are gonna give me jobs. I'm not gonna practice for my interviews. I'm not gonna learn the job. Someone's gonna network. Like you gotta have an ego death. I'm willing to always have an ego death. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right or rich. I want to be rich. So if I'm doing something wrong, let me know, sis. Let me know so I could fix that. But it's uncomfortable to learn something new. Even if you want to do something that you want to do, it is uncomfortable. And when I tell y'all all of these scenarios that I'm giving you all are actual circumstances that I've helped clients go through. Like I get all these situations are like more than one client. And that's why I wanted to do it. So if you are a current client, this may be about you, but it most likely is from people that I've worked with from years ago. But I want y'all to recognize that. Like this is normal. Like I don't want any of y'all to feel called out in a negative way. I want y'all to know if you feel like any of these are you, that's because it probably is. And there was someone else who was thinking that. And I also want you to know there's someone who has overcome the same thing that you're going through. Excuse me. Y'all are also avoiding feelings. That's kind of like that mental health support. You got to feel your feelings. Okay. But usually you all don't like the feeling of uncomfortableness. And I get it. Like, imagine if you are like in a wet blanket situation or you're like sweating and it's hot. It is uncomfortable. So imagine that, yeah, it's going to feel hot. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But that is the way. That is the way. And because you're not willing to feel uncomfortable, that's when people give up. Oh, this is too much. I gotta take a break. That's usually when people take a break. Like, oh, I'm taking a break. And it's like, girl, like we got to build our mental, like we got to go in the mental gym. And again, if we go back to step one, if we're not in that mental gym getting support in our mental, we are not going to be able, like, that's why I have a feelings wheel right here, y'all. I have a feelings wheel. For me, all these things are also me at one point in time. But with the feel our feelings, a lot of us are avoiding the feelings and we're not having an ego death. We have to be willing to be uncomfortable, build capacity for being uncomfortable. That's what we have to do. And if you don't build the capacity for being uncomfortable, people give up. Okay? And the last reason that teachers quit their transition journey is essentially what happens is You have tried to kind of do everything. In your mind, you've done everything. And then your brain starts to like, be like, you know what? We've tried. Maybe I actually like the classroom. Like it's kind of like an abusive relationship. You're like, it's not that bad. It's kind of like the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't know. You're like, okay, I know how bad it is, and it's not that bad. I actually love working with kids. You know, I actually really don't mind when I'm getting paid. I actually don't think it's that bad. I do have my summers off. It's kind of like you start convincing yourself, like you make up a story that fits your narrative. Kind of like, I'll give you an example. It's kind of like me going to the gym. Like I went back to the gym and then I got my hair done and I was like, I'm not going to the gym for 2 months. And I literally made that story up. I was like, yeah, my hair is looking cute, so I'm not going to the gym. And that fit my narrative. So like I don't have any remorse or I feel bad about it because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm my hair, not this hair, it's when I had my sew in. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to the gym because my hair, and I believed it. So a lot of y'all like will not admit that you quit. You just come up with a story that fits your narrative. Like, oh yeah, no, I actually don't think I want to transition. I actually like it here. And it's like a lot of y'all, maybe it is the truth, but of course it's true because you made the story up to fit your narrative. So like that's why a lot of people who don't admit the quit. Now, uh, hold on, Lauren. Come back. Sorry, y'all. I'm having a podcast interview right after this. But yeah. So as far as how do we take all this to the next level? I'm gonna make it very, very simple for you all. I want you all to envision what does it look like for me to be in full control of my success? What does that look like for me to be in full control of my success? What does it look like for me to be successful no matter what? What does it look like for me to be successful no matter what? A lot of us are saying, oh, what if it fails? Like, what if it doesn't work out? Like, I've been trying for a long time. Versus, hey, I'm going to keep going until I get my job. I know it's going to feel uncomfortable, but I am willing to feel this uncomfortableness to make more money. I'm not going to let LinkedIn take me out. I may not realize that I've been burnt out. I'm willing to have this ego death. I'm willing to be wrong to make more money. Right? And that's the simple solution to that. What does it look like for me to be successful? What does it look like for me to not give up? And then whenever challenges come up, how can I overcome that challenge? How can I overcome that challenge? That is really what we want to answer to be able to not give up. And I want you to know, I know I may give tough coaching, but it is 100% possible for you to leave the classroom. It's 100% possible for you to make more money. Like, even if I called you out on one of these reasons, there is someone who's been in the same situation as you who has gotten the job. And I want you to take this episode as proof that you are capable of doing it. Okay? I don't want to yap too much about it. I feel like I just want to kind of give you the straight and nitty gritty. What does it look like for me to fully take control of my success and know that nobody is going to come and save me? Because even with people who are in my program, we still have to face the woman in the mirror. If I have everything that I need to be successful and I'm not doing it, we have to figure out what feeling am I avoiding? What am I not willing to let go of? Like, am I not willing to feel uncomfortable? Okay. All right, y'all. That's the episode. Make sure y'all scroll and find what other episode you need to listen to after this. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.